guys, and welcome back to Guys That Talk About Nothing. Tonight, we have DJ and T, and our topic is pet peeves.
Whoa, pet peeves.
Yes, pet peeves.
All right.
So y'all have
let me go to my list here.
pet peeves. And so T, let's start with you. What are some of your pet peeves?
Pet peeves. One of my pet peeves is when you tell someone that you're going to call them right back and they call you back in 5 to 10 minutes. I cannot stand that. That is one thing that really gets under my skin. I say, hey, I'm on a call. Give me a few minutes. I'll call you back. You know.
Well, is that because you don't call them back?
No. What I'm saying is 5-10 minutes will go by and they'll call back. And I'm like, hey, hello?
No, what Ace is asking, is that because you don't typically call them back?
No. You know what? No. Because we're not talking about people that I forget to call back or don't call back. So yeah, I understand where you're going with that, but no, because yes, I am a bad caller.
Would it be a recaller?
Yeah, recaller. But yeah, I think that's one of my.
You have people in two buckets: those I call back when I say I'm going to call back, and those I don't call back when I say I'm going to call them back. Is that it?
Definitely, I have two buckets.
Okay,
but you know, I'm only talking about one bucket right now.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so the people that call you before you call them, you typically call them back.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And the thing is that I don't mind them calling me back. That's because after about 30 to 45 minutes, yeah, I might forget. But I mean,
so you told them you call them back in 5 or 10 minutes.
I said, give me a few minutes, I'll call you back. That's what I say. Give me a few minutes. And they'll call back in 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm like,
okay. All right, that's a bit much. Okay,
yeah,
I get that.
I'll call you right back. Yeah.
What can you best describe as a few minutes?
I would say like 5.
Normally
it should be 3 to 5, because a few, a couple is 2 minutes.
That literal, man, when you're on a phone call, man.
I always get confused with
a few and a
couple.
Couples always 2.
And several.
Several is going to be over 5.
I don't say a couple. Because I know that's literally like,
I'm going to say few is between 3 and 5 or 6, and several is going like 6 and above.
Okay. So when you say I have several girlfriends,
that's too many.
Okay. Okay. All right. So DJ, pet peeves.
Oh my God. A lot of mine center around driving sometimes. Well, a lot of them
driving. Okay.
Because I don't understand when people have like a fender bender, they like a little bing, they stop in the middle of traffic. They get out. It's like they're waiting for CSI to come and draw a chalk line around the cars. For a fender bender, move your car to the shoulder, people.
Yeah.
You got a smartphone, take a picture. So easy. But they don't move. They'll sit there like, we got to wait for the police to come. CSI, we're going to get some fingerprinting done out here. We need witnesses. It's like, no, you don't. Move your car over. And you know the other thing I hate is people that swing their car out to make a turn like they're driving a semi. Why you turn all the way to the right to make a left turn and you're driving a smart car? They're not that big.
Yeah.
You're driving a Honda Fit. They're not that big, man. You don't have to turn to the right to make a left turn. I don't understand it.
Yeah. Well, those are good. I mean, obviously you have a little bit of road rage going on there. But
on whose part?
I'm confused. It confuses me. It's like the turn signal one where you're driving and they're in the middle lane and that left turn signal is on. You're like flashing them. Okay, you can get over. You're just driving. And you have to drive past and risk your life taking a look over to see what's going on in that car. Because I don't understand why you're not noticing your turn signals on for the past 5 miles.
And why and why do cab drivers ride really slow down the street and the speed limit is 45 and they're driving 20 and you blow your horn at them and then you go around them and they give you the finger?
Right.
What is that all about? What the heck is that?
Or taking a cab and they drive slow.
Well, they're probably looking for the address to make sure that they're not passing.
No, they have just dropped off their last passenger.
You know, they're trying to figure it out because who takes a cab anymore?
Yeah, that's your fault if you're taking a cab.
They are terrible, man. Terrible drivers. Now, New York City cab drivers, that's a whole nother story. They will scare the heck out of you.
They'll stop and then throw you and open the door so you can just fly out the car.
Dude, I love those guys. They get you to where you need to go on time.
They are professional drivers.
Yes, they are awesome, man. They really are. Well, let's listen.
What about
one of my pet peeves is this. So, you go to a restaurant, you're with your significant other, and you guys are eating, and in between bites, you bite, and you look up, she looks great. So you kind of pause while you're chewing and you look at her, you're like, ooh, this is nice. You're all zoned in. And then all of a sudden, someone walks by and says, what is that food you're eating? What is that? I want to get that.
Oh, no. That's me.
I mean, why are you at my table, dog? Ask the waiter.
I'm having a romantic moment.
Oh, that's me, man. I've done that a couple of times. I'm like, what's that you got there? That looks good.
I don't know what it's called. I just had it. And you broke my moment that I was setting up for later on.
Oh, this is right when you're about to reach in your pocket and pull the ring out of your pocket, right? And somebody comes to your table and says, what is that on your plate? I want to try that.
What
ring of mind your business? That's what it is.
What are we?
Not a plate of mind your business.
Mind games.
And so that to me, it's like, what? You first of all, you stare at my food and you're all up in my plate and they point, what's that?
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's a big one. And the other one for me is police officers who control the flow of traffic by driving on the beltway at 50 miles an hour so you can't pass them, backing up traffic for the next 2 hours. That's a pet peeve of mine. Why do you have to go in the middle of the highway, Mr. Officer Man, and drive at 55 when the speed limit is 65?
But you know what gets me with that, Ace, is if you pass them, they pull you over and give you a ticket.
Yeah.
And they say, who told you could pass a police officer? I'm driving. I'm controlling traffic. You're not supposed to be passing me by.
Is that a rule? Where is that?
But I'm like, I didn't break the speed limit.
I've passed them. If the speed limit is with the speed limit, I pass them.
Is that the law?
I've been pulled over for that before.
It's how you pass them.
No. You creep past them. You just try not to look at them. You're like this.
Yeah, no eye contact. You stare straight ahead. You slowly ease past. Make sure you're doing the speed limit. But if you come like, flying past them and whatnot, Tokyo drift and whatnot, man.
I think that's a law.
Blasting your music.
I don't think you can pass a police officer on the highway. Isn't that a law?
I don't know, man. It doesn't sound like a real law.
If any police officers are listening, please put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Oh man, we had one too. We could have brought on.
Yeah.
What's up with maybe that? Next time we might have one.
Yeah, send this episode to him so he can comment. I think I passed him the other day.
Yeah, right.
just hit him with the pit maneuver and drive off. That's all you got to do.
Right. That's just like crazy, man.
I think we need to follow up with this one. We're gonna have to get Sir Rob back on and have him.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get.
Excuse me. I also have a police officer in the family. Thank you.
Would he be willing to join us?
I will ask, sir. Please,
right,
sir. Let's.
Well, so we can do an episode with the most annoying things police officers do.
Have them on.
Right.
Yeah, that's great.
Eat all the donuts at Dunkin' Donuts. When we go in to get a donut, ain't no more donuts, man.
Oh, I will make sure to stack up some donuts and have them sitting right next to me when we have them on.
Right.
You know they do this trick where they touch your tail light and they slide their finger along the car. You ever noticed that?
Oh man, no.
What is that for?
So I've noticed it.
No
I got
police
pulled
officer.
over. I got pulled over last year for speeding, and I noticed him do it. And I said to myself, I was like, "Is he trying to leave like evidence that he's been here?" So I wasn't sure that's what it was, and I looked it up. That's exactly what they do. So if you ever get pulled over, and some officer will stop and they'll touch the tail light or back of your car and slide their finger a little bit, that leaves DNA. But the problem is, what if I go get a car wash after I killed the officer? Then what?
Bro, but that's inappropriate.
Huh?
I don't want to be fondled like that. You're gonna have my car is an extension of me. You can't be squeezing my buttocks, man. I'm very sensitive.
That's not a squeeze, sir. That's a little touch. That's a little.
You said he rubbed it up.
No.
Nice.
Oh man.
He touched and slid his finger
And that
across,
DJ said
across the left cheek or the left cake.
Get off my cake, man. What you doing?
DJ said he rubbed his finger across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing we need the subscribers to do is tickle the bell. They can rub that, and
Yeah.
but stay off of my buttocks.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
man.
I think this is a good point to segue into our next topic, which is embarrassing moments. Embarrassing moments.
I got a couple good ones.
Yeah, so you have a couple good ones. We're gonna start off with DJ.
All right, this one was pretty bad. So I had an old friend of mine. We used to clown all the time. You know, he's not a friend anymore because he lost his mind, but that's a different story. So we used to clown all the time. We would say, I learned his mom's name, and I would use her name in a lot of vile jokes, man, just vile, right? So I'm trying to do, like, I'm on a boring meeting for work. I think I'm muted, but I'm not muted.
Oh.
He calls on my phone, and he's like, yeah, what you doing, man? I said, I'm just sitting around with my stuff in your mom's mouth.
Woo!
And then the manager says, Derek, you're not on mute.
So who was in this meeting?
You're
Who
not
was
on
in
mute.
this meeting?
And please
It was,
get your
it
junk
was
out
my
his mama's mouth.
manager from another company. Like I was a sub, the vendor, and this woman that worked with me.
Oh no, dude.
Yeah, I said that. I said, oh. They was like, yeah, yeah.
and you can't have your junk in his mom's mouth on our time.
Yeah, and I actually said her name too because, you know, we're that familiar. You know?
Did you get written up for that?
No, everyone laughed. They thought it was a good time, and I was scared. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that.
But you explained to them what was going on.
Yeah, I explained to them. They were still like, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, but I didn't say stuff. I said the word. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's pretty bad, dude.
That was bad.
I would have put you on a performance improvement plan.
Yeah, you definitely
over the
get
90 days, we had to have evidence that you didn't have your junk in somebody's mother's mouth during the course of the business day. You can't be putting your junk in your mouth.
Can't be mentioning that.
That was a
professional workplace, man.
Oh, man.
So I got an embarrassing moment. I think I was about 15. So my father had this old blue GMC van. Tricked it out. Had these little rims on it. The van was powder blue. For some reason, I don't know why, my father decided to carpet the whole van.
Ooh, that was the thing back
then. Yeah.
He put red carpet in the entire van. So he used to pick up myself, my brother, and two of my cousins. So on this particular day, you know, kids are kids. They're going to be in the van. And so, you know, when you're in a van, you want to stand up and, you know, pretend like you can balance yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going down the freeway. We're actually going downtown DC. We're on our way to pick up my mother from work. And we're in the van, dancing and having a ball, and the van sways. I hit one wall, went to the other side, hit the doors opened, and I fell out of the van as it was moving.
Explains so much.
Dude, I am in the middle of the highway.
Oh my God.
Sitting on my behind, and all I hear is cars skidding, and I heard my dad's van go, "Skirt." I heard my brother say, "No." Dude, I don't know, it was by the grace of God or something. I did a complete somersault when I fell out of the van. I fell out of the van backwards. Dang. And I landed on my behind, but I'm sitting in the middle of the highway with this look on my face, and my brother is in there, he's over there crying. You see tears coming down his face. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, did this really happen? And my father gets out the van, comes out and grabs me. All the traffic stops. So all of these people are seeing this kid sitting out on the highway.
Wow.
So he helped me get up, got back in the van. Of course, they all got a nice view of the red carpet inside the powder blue van.
They were like, that's what they were distracted by.
That was nice though.
They were blinded. They were like, whoa.
Yeah, so we got back in the van and took off. And I mean, dude, I had no bruises, no bumps. I didn't hit my head, didn't scrape my hands, didn't do any of that.
Dude, how old did you say you were?
15. We were at school, getting picked up.
15.
Well, dude, why did you just sit there stunned instead of jumping up out of the street?
Dude, I was in shock. I actually fell out of a moving van on a freeway.
Wow.
Well, dude, you would have been even more shocked if the other moving vehicles would have, compounded the problem.
Been short-lived, and the only thing that would be left was a pair of shoes on the
Dude,
ground.
I didn't know if I was alive or dead or what. I had no clue. I mean, I was in total shock.
Wow. Now
that was an embarrassing moment for me.
Wow, that's interesting, man. I don't know how to follow that up, but I'll try to do it. I have two embarrassing moments.
Okay.
One is very similar to DJ's embarrassing moment. Obviously, I'm on a conference call, and if you guys are in, a client support or support IT, mm-hmm. where your third line support and software is broken, blah, blah, blah. So, of course, we're on the call, and this is like the 50th call on this subject. Mm. So I'm working from home, and, the company that I work for is just anal. They go through, all sorts of tests and just in triplicate and more than that. So I'm on the phone, and somebody calls me on my personal phone. I didn't realize that when I was talking, I didn't close my mic out. So they say to me, hey, what are you doing? So I, for some reason, walk to my front door because I'm working from home. I open the door and I say, I'm on this blank meeting for the umpteenth time. I have no idea why we have to meet so freaking much. Oh, wow. To talk about the same old stupid stuff. So what's happening when you have like 50 people on the call, mm-hmm. Everybody's kind of bantering back and forth. All of a sudden I heard complete silence. And I said, so, I couldn't tell because I had the headphones on if I was on the, open mic or not. So I ran back to the laptop. I saw that the speaker was open, and the executive person says, if you guys have to get off the call, you can get off the call. Oh. And so now I'm thinking to myself, does it highlight who's speaking? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out if your name do we have that feature turned on if your name pops up when you're talking, So I was like, oh, I muted the call, and I didn't get off. But that was interesting.
So did they want the other people to get off of the call so the other executives could talk to you?
Everyone else get off the call except for Mr. Ace.
Right. I think the person who was leading the call, the executive person, she liked me at the end of the day in regards to my work. And she probably was a little stunned at what I was saying. So It's uncharacteristic, but it was like excessive. We had already resolved the issue 80 million times over.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can do other things. So that was one. That was really embarrassing. The other one happened when I was turning 9 years old. Ooh, so my mom, we had just moved, and my mom said, it's your birthday. I'm going to invite folks from the old neighborhood to your birthday party. And I said, awesome. So we stopped at this store at the time called A&P. You guys remember A&P?
Oh yeah, I remember A&P.
Yeah,
right. Yes, they had what was the coffee at the end of the counter called? 8 o'clock. They used to make that coffee. Do you remember that? They had a red machine at the end of the checkout counter where they would make you a bag full of coffee. I think it was called 8 o'clock.
Wow, I never heard of that.
Man, you gotta look.
I remember the machine. I just don't remember what it was called.
I think it was called 8 o'clock. We can look it up. So my mom has the basket full of food and stuff because she was going to throw down.
Mm-hmm.
So we're walking through the aisle, through the checkout. And this is back in the day when the manager sat all the way up on top.
Oh, yeah.
To overlook the store.
The dark windows.
Right. Overlook the store.
Yeah.
And so as she pushed her cart out and we were walking through, the manager says, excuse me, ma'am, are you going to also pay for the stuff in your son's pockets? So here it is, my pockets are full of Jolly Ranchers, Squirrel Nuts, and dude, they're like bulged out like this. And so the one thing that I don't know, most Black people know about their mothers is you do not embarrass them. My mom looked back at me. She had this one statement for really? That's what she would say. So she looked back at me. I looked down at my pockets. I'm like, how can he tell? How does he know? How does he know what's in my pockets? And it's not like I don't know, man. I don't know what I was doing at that point because I didn't have to do that. And so she says, I'm putting all this stuff back. So she returned it all. And you guys remember where the doors to go out, you used to step on the black mat and then open the door. Uh-huh. Man, by the time I touched the black mat, I had lefts and rights and uppercuts. Okay. She whipped my tail from the time I stepped on the black mat until the time we got in the car and drove home. And then, of course, what happens next? She gets on the phone.
Switch.
Well, she gets on the phone. She calls every parent.
Oh.
With my son did canceling the party. He was.
This was the same day as the party? Or prior to?
I can't, dude, I don't recall.
Oh, man.
Now we know why you like self-checkout.
It probably was. It probably was, dog, because, you usually buy your stuff. I don't recall my mom buying stuff in advance. I think it was the day of. Yes. And so the calls on the phone, man, I mean, it was like endless. I could hear her. Yes, and come here. You need to talk to him. And so I'm not only am I hearing her talk to these people, the people are now talking to me. What are you doing? And Johnny's going to be disappointed because he can't come to the birthday party. All because of what you did. I'm like, oh my God, it was the worst, dude. It was the worst. And my mom made some great food and some great cakes. And it was the worst, man. Not only did I not get the party, I had to put all of the Jolly Ranchers and the Squirrel Nuts and all that stuff back. I just took them out of my pocket. Here you go. It was the worst, man.
Funny, so man. Appreciate it, man. On that note, guys, we are out of time. We want to thank you for joining Guys That Talk About Nothing. I would like to say thanks to Ace. And
the moral of the
DJ.
story is don't
you go.
Steal.
Don't steal. Make sure you guys subscribe to the show. Get our likes up, get our subscriptions up. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Check out.